How are we doing, folks? Welcome back to the Shankly Session, the Liverpool podcast we bring you each and every week. This is your match reaction. Liverpool 3, Aston Villa 1. Big win for the Reds away from home, especially. Hasn't been much joy on the road for us this season. I think that's only our second one away from home. Not too sure. Spurs was the other one, I think. So it's a huge 3 points. It was a massive game today and really, really difficult coming back off the World Cup to see how this team will perform when we get the players out there and stuff like that. Having not played a lot for the last month with a lot of players away in Qatar. Um, Obviously, we had the benefit of the Carabao Cup game there during the week, which probably helped a lot, even though finished in defeat. But we knew this was going to be a kind of a sticky kind of match for us, a difficult place to go to Villa Park. But nonetheless, in the first half, we showed up really, really well. Our passing was crisp. We were on point. We were closing down everything. Anytime a Villa player picked up the ball, there was two Liverpool players on him. We were pressing nice and high and winning the ball, creating chances. Trent was absolutely sublime. Robbo was absolutely sublime. Their range of passing was absolutely phenomenal first half. Even Joel Matip, when he was passing the ball out from the back and stuff like that, his range of passing was incredible out to the wings as well. Allison, of course, incredible as well, absolutely brilliant as he has been all season. By far, our player of the season so far. We will get into the player ratings in a little bit. Come out the second half, kind of started off a little bit okay, but then got a little bit complacent. Um, Kind of letting Villa back into the game and stuff like that. And listen, we know Unai Emery's a fantastic coach, and we know he sets up really well. And he would have been really bothered by that first half performance, because Villa just weren't in the game at all, and we were so much better than them. So he had to kind of move a few things around and stuff like that and reap rewards. Villa came on strong. We were so deep. Couldn't believe how deep we had dropped back. Like at one stage, the Villa goalkeeper picked up the ball. And I don't think one of our players was even nearly in the Villa half. It was absolutely crazy. When you think about the first half, the energy and the pace, and you see players, Fabinho and Thiago back to what they do and stuff like that. And a lot of players out there were showing glimpses of what they were about previously. But that second half, again, a little bit worried, the drop off, the concern from it and stuff like that, and just not getting at it again, getting at our work and stuff like that. Kind of sitting back a little bit on the 2-0 and being, dare I say, a little bit satisfied, if you like, with our work. What can we say about Darwin? I mean, he's a bundle of energy. He'll run all day for you. He's getting into great positions. He's splitting defenses. He's getting away one-on-ones. Just cannot put the ball in the back of the net at the moment. Cannot finish. On another week, he could have scored 5, maybe 6, but finishes out the week between the Carabao Cup and today's league game with none. But by God, is he trying? And you know something? It may be that he's just trying too hard. Especially the one where he was through one-on-one there. Should have went left near post instead of trying to go across the keeper. Be a little bit clever. Klopp, of course, rings the changes. Really, really concerning. Like you hear the talk at the moment from some of the journalists in close to the club and stuff like that about potentially we're not going to be going into the market in any way heavy or something like that. And then you look in 2022, we're starting with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who clearly will be gone on the summer, I would imagine. And then we're bringing on Naby Keita. And those two things there signal straight away everything that's wrong with Liverpool Football Club at the moment. It's really, really worrying where we're at. We do have to go into the market. January's going to be huge for us, especially if we want to get back to where we want to get back to, in that top 4, which is absolutely vital for us. But we knew it was going to be a big result today, especially with Spurs dropping points early on. Obviously, Newcastle won, so they're still staying rolling ahead. But it was vital that we picked up 3 points. And now we've Leicester on Friday, and that'll be another big game. But we've got to push forward from this win now and take the positives from it. Not dwell on the negatives. The second half, there was quite the drop off, and Villa had a number of really good chances. But really, if you look at that first half and stuff like that, and even some of the chances we had in the second half, we should have been out of sight. That game should have been 5-6 at one stage, and it wasn't. But what can you do? You just keep on pushing forward. Um, I thought some of our play second half, I was a little bit worried. And I don't like to see players pulling out of tackles. I don't like to see that at all. Second half, we were kind of second to the ball at times. It was like we were just slower to react to the ball and stuff. Um, on come Stefan Bietic, who I think is he's absolutely sensational. And you can see what he does there, and you can see the difference between him and say Darwin when he gets into that position. He just is clever enough to know where to move the ball to. And of course, you get a little bit of luck the way the ball goes in through the player's legs and stuff like that. But you need to create that bit of luck. You need to manufacture that bit of luck in your endeavour. And he was excellent for the goal. And that goal was the difference, because I think at 2-1, such a dangerous scoreline. And I think Villa could have easily come in back into it. I was surprised that Emery as well, bringing on Ings and Coutinho so late and not giving them the time to really impose themselves on the game. Giving them like 6-7 minutes really is not what they needed. They needed a lot more time to try and impose themselves on the game. And I noticed as the game went on at 2-1, there was a lot more camera action towards Coutinho when he would come on and stuff like that. And I just feared that like Coutinho might come on and he'd be the one that would get the equaliser and cause the problem. But it didn't happen. Bietic came on, a lad with a footballing head on his shoulders, well above his years. And Ben Doak came on as well. And I like little Ben Doak, that little step over and turn to open up Villa and stuff like that. And it just goes to show that these young lads, very much at times ready to step in when needed. And at times when it's a little bit more comfortable, introduce them more and more and more. But we really need to go into the market in January and bring in reinforcements at a real tidy level, a real top level. Not just fillers, not just space fillers and stuff like that. We know Jota's going to be out. We know Luis Diaz is going to be out. We know Melo's going to be out. We know Milner's after picking up an injury. We know Firmino has an injury, all these different things. That team currently is not going to see its way into a top four unless reinforcements are brought in. I'm sure the gaffer knows that. But I think he'd be well pleased with what he's saying today, especially first half. Second half, not so much. Trent sort of fell a little bit away. Andy Robinson fell a little bit away. Andy Robinson, sensational first half. That touch for that first goal was absolutely sensational. And just looked on it. Just in that first half, when we set the tempo and we just look on it. That's how it kind of panned out. But second half, some of the worrying signs returned again. But let's get through into these ratings. So we start with Alisson. Alisson gets an 8 out of 10. Return to the starting lineup. What do you expect from Alisson? Absolutely fabulous. Even those ones where Villa broke through 1-on-1 and he was still blocking them and saving them, even though they were ruled offside and stuff like that, and he didn't know. He just sticks to his task and stuff like that. Couple of times he slipped, lost a bit of his distribution and stuff like that, but more often than not, you can rely on the big man all the time. Absolutely brilliant. Trent, I gave a 7 to. I think after a month of being out in Qatar and basically not kicking the ball really for England, not feeling the love from the international team at all, it was important that he came back and put on a performance. Came back in, first half was absolutely sensational. Second half, bit of a drop off. Defensively at times, just a little bit nervous, if you like, maybe a little bit rusty, maybe, who knows. But certainly first half distribution and moving forward and stuff like that. And even in the half when you seen him, remember when he chased that ball down, he went all the way out to the left side and he even ran in on the keeper and stuff like that. It's great to see that burst of energy is there and that commitment and stuff like that, which is what you want to see. Joel Matip got a 7. Was preferred to Joe Gomez, and no surprise there, of course. Joe had an absolute howler the other night against Man City. But I gave Joel a 7. Liked some of his distribution. Very, very slick on the ball, Joel. And did really, really well. Van Dijk, I gave an 8 to. First half, didn't have a huge amount to do, really. Second half looked more like the dominant presence of the Dutch man that he is and stuff like that. And again, coming back in after being away with the Dutch side and stuff like that, sometimes it takes a bit of time to knock the cobwebs off. Again, why I was saying it's such a difficult match to come back into, and away to Villa Park. Normally the last place you want to be going, normally a very tough place to go to. An A for Andy Robinson. Robbo answering all the critics. Was criticised heavily after the Man City game and stuff like that. Even calls for Costas potentially to come in by some corners of the fan base and stuff like that, but went out there, put in a real good performance, energy all the time. Always up and down that flank and stuff like that. Really excellent. Some great crosses and corners. That touch with the outside of the foot to Salah for the first goal is as good a touch you'll see from a player as you're going to see. Really excellent. So A for Andy Robinson. Fabinho got a 7. Got stuck in as always, was breaking up the play and stuff like that. A couple of times got missed out. But again, another one who didn't he has stepped up quite a lot from where he was. I mean, he was really struggling before the World Cup. Went off with Brazil, didn't play a lot of time, but has come back in and obviously just fired up to play football again. Looked like he missed it today, and he was well up for it and stuff like that. So delighted to see Fabinho somewhere back to where we would expect him to be. Thiago, 7. Has been the Reds' best midfielder this season, without a doubt, no doubt about it. But brought the energy again today. Some of his passing was excellent. Sometimes he expected too much from his teammates, but that's okay. That will come in time. Obviously, only been the first game back since the World Cup. But looked a little bit battle weary and a little bit leggy in the second half. Ran out of a bit of steam, really, But high energy all through that game and stuff like that. Was getting stuck in, tracking back, and constantly involved in the midfield. Hendo, captain, gave a 7. Again, had a bit of resurgence when he was out there for England and stuff like that. Played really well when he came into the England side out in Qatar. He wasn't too bad, really. He was pretty decent today. Getting involved in everything, moving the ball around, some good passing and stuff like that. Link-up play was pretty good. Just probably needs to find a level of performance and needs to gain that consistency in there again of what we expect from Hendo. But again, today, 7. Man of the match today, Mo Salah. Never stopped moving, never stopped trying, was involved in most of the forward play, as we would expect from Mo. Took his goal lovely. Has broken record after record this season. Of course, we know how good Mo Salah is. The strike today puts him level, I think, with Kenny Dalglish on 172 goals, and hopefully there's still many more to come, but that's like to equal Kenny Dalglish. What more can we say? Gave Lucas Digne a real tough time today and stuff like that. Lucas Digne is a very good player, but gave him a tough time today. Got a goal and an assist. It's his 50th for the club. A standard Salah performance. Excellent. Great stuff from him. And Robbo becomes I think with his assist as well, becomes the highest assister, I think, in the Premier League now, I think, for his position. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, I gave a 7 to. He got the nod today over Carvalho. Obviously, Carvalho took his goal the other night good against Man City, but kind of got bullied out of the game a lot. Physically against, those bigger Man City players and stuff like that. He was kind of bullied in the match and stuff like that. But Ox came in today, put in a reasonable shift. Just at times, I don't feel he's switched on in the game and stuff like that. And at times, you're seeing again today, when that tackle needed to be put in, he more often stepped back or pulled out of it and stuff like that. And I hate to see that. Pulling out of tackles is my absolute pet hate. Drives me insane. So I hate to see that. But I gave him a 7 today. Some of his work rate was pretty good, and some of his movement was pretty good. But again, I think it's more a case of putting yourself in the shop window than anything else. Darwin, I gave a 7 to. I'd love to be giving him a higher rating. Great ovation from the fans when he was going off. They were singing his name and stuff like that. Certainly he put in a shift today. Tried everything he could to score. I thought that volley that he took that came over the top of him, that the keeper saved, went straight at the keeper. But the technique was absolutely fabulous, and not an easy technique either. But brilliant to see. I mean, he's trying his best. He's trying his hardest, and He'll eventually click, he'll get a couple of goals, and then he'll go on a run and it'll be goal after goal after goal. We just got to be patient with him. I know it's tough to be patient with him. You're saying it with some of the fans when they went to the crowd as well, just frustrated with him and stuff like that. If he gets going and he starts scoring goals, most games we're going to be out of sight because the amount of chances he creates and the way he splits defenses and his pace and stuff like that, he will score a lot of goals. On the subs, Keita came on for Ox on 66. Give Keita a 6. I don't even know what's the point at this stage. He just comes on. He doesn't really influence the game in any way. Slows the game down. Turns the ball more, slower and back and stuff like that all the time where we need it more forward and a lot quicker. Slows the game down. Comes on. Body language is shit. Comes on like he doesn't give a toss. And I just don't know. We just don't have options there, so we have to bring him on. Harvey came on for Thiago as well on 66. Gave Harvey a 6. Used on the left of a front three, not necessarily where he would normally be. Quiet, but he kept the ball going at times and stuff like that. So Harvey gets a 6. Joe Gomez came on for Trent on 78. Gave him a 7. Good pass in the build-up play to Bietic's goal. But not a huge amount to talk about apart from that. Stefan Bietic came on for Henderson on 78, gave him an 8. Scored a brilliant taking goal. So much to do in order to get goal. Broke to him, had to move past and then stuff like that. Just for a kid of his age and stuff like that to be able to do that, it's eye-opening. It's fantastic. And a brilliant goal to get. Brilliant for him. Ben Doe came on for Nunes in 87, got him a 7. You can't really rate these players coming on like that, but Ben Doak, there's a lot to like about Ben Doak at the moment. Every time I've seen him play, I've been impressed with him. Never looks out of place, and more than capable of stepping in when needed. Little bit of trickery to him as well, a little bit of shithousery to him as well, which I really like. But a Premier League debut for the 17-year-old Scot. That lovely dummy caught the eye, that was the main thing. But some nice little link-up play as well with Salah there as well and stuff like that. So, but yeah, hats off to Ben Doe coming on. 17 years of age, like between 17 years of age coming on for Liverpool Football Club in the Premier League. Fair play to him, and may more happen. That has been your player ratings and your match reaction. Let us know in the comments what you thought. We will be coming up this week. We will have a preview for that Leicester game. We hope you all had a wonderful Christmas, that you're enjoying your St. Stephen's Day. And let's see the way the rest of the results go. You have West Ham versus Arsenal, or Arsenal versus West Ham, I should say, coming up next. Let's see how that result goes, and who knows what might happen. Until next time, Reds, it's been a pleasure. Like on the video on the way out, subscribe to the channel, of course, smash that bell notification button, and we will talk to you this week before that Leicester game to get your thoughts and ours. Cheers.